Yes. Good morning, Genesis. Please, will you please stand and let's sing our opening song together. Let's start moving this energy. It's good in here. Let's go. Marvelous. Welcome. Your soul is welcome here. You all are welcome here. I'm really happy to see all of you. Genesis is a community dedicated to love, to inspiring harmony, and creating connections to empower spiritual growth. And we love that you're here to share in that with us. My name is Karen Williams, and I am a practitioner here at Genesis Center for Spiritual Living, and I'm just going to be talking us through the process today. Our online host, yes, is Cal Boyle. So if you are on Facebook or if you are on YouTube and you're watching, please say hi to Cal, and he can convey anything, any of your messages to those of us here so that we can know that our family extends beyond what we are here in this physical space. So thank you. Thank you, Cal. We are going to read our mission statement and our vision statements together. So please read with me. We are building a vibrant community, cultivating a garden of spiritual growth, honoring vulnerability, creating a safe place of comfort and peace where all are welcome and accepted. Our vision. Genesis is a bright beacon with an unshakable heart of love, accepting all. Genesis is a home for the soul where we each creatively express our spiritual brilliance. So sorry, it is written differently here than it is up there. And all is well.
That's the way we roll.
That's how we do things, and all is well.
I run with it.
We sure do. We flex our flex. So briefly, our announcements. After service today is the monthly Reclaiming Joy After Loss group that takes place from 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. via Zoom. That is Cynthia Zink, who is a practitioner here, and Diane Dyer, who is a practitioner emeritus. They create a safe and supportive and caring environment for an amazing journey in mending your heart and finding that joy, reclaiming that joy. I love the name of that. Today also begins our first foray into book studies. So this is going to be offered every Sunday as is practical and feasible from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock. So after fellowship, so there's an opportunity for fellowship, and then just joining in a reading together of The Universal Christ by Richard Rohr. This is a drop-in and it's free. We are beginning our fall class on September 28th. This is great news. We haven't offered a class in quite a while, and we're feeling kind of settled now, aren't we? We're feeling settled in this space. We're feeling settled in our community. We're feeling settled and anchored by a new minister. And so we're offering that class that begins on the Thursday, the 28th. That is in person, which is also something to be celebrated, at 7 p.m. The location is at, it's at Northern Lights. Thank you. It's not written here, so I'm having to pull it out of the depths of my memory. It is at Northern Lights, which is really just like a block or so from here. 152nd.
Yeah, but further.
Right, one block that way, and then 10 blocks that way. But anyway, so you can find all the details about that on our Facebook page and also on our website, and just fill in a really brief, just your name and your intention to participate in the class, and then show up. So I hope to see you there, because I will be there. I'm really excited about gathering in person again for classes. We have a regularly occurring every Wednesday night intention circle that takes place from 7 to 8 p.m. on Wednesday nights, every Wednesday night via Zoom. Cynthia Zink and myself facilitate that meeting, and you can find that link again on our Facebook page and our web page and all the ways that we're connected to our community. And if you're following along the Science of Mind textbook in a year, we're nearly done. We're into what the mystics have taught, which is a fantastic chapter in the book, along with the meditations. So you can find all of that on Facebook, on my page, and then I share it with Genesis. So always a lot happening here, and it's exciting and it's good. It's good to be part of community. So that is it for our announcements. At this time, we get to stand up and greet our neighbors. This is of our gathering hall. Come back. You know, this community it truly is a community of love. We really genuinely like each other, and we like being together. And so you ask us to get together, to get up and hug each other and stuff. It's like, game on. I don't know, what else are we doing? Is there something else going on? I'm happy with my community. I love you guys. Is there anybody here for the first time? Like to introduce yourself? Looks like in the back, but you've been here before, I know that. Okay, anybody first time online? Okay, all friends and family, this is great. If you don't have one of these, you should actually, because they're on every single chair. So if you don't have one, there should be one on it. If there's an empty chair, you can raise your hand and somebody will bring one to you. Prepackaged, everything that you need to be successful in a service like this. I just want to spend a minute acknowledging our volunteers who make this happen. Our community is true community in that we do everything. We do everything together. There are opportunities to volunteer to set the chairs up, to break them down, to bring the food, to make the coffee, to take everything down. There are opportunities for us to be together in a variety of ways, and I want to acknowledge those who have done so this morning. So for our setup and cleanup crew, Soren, Cal, and Eric have been here from the beginning, and Gideon, of course, making all this look the way it does and making it look great. We have a greeter this morning is Cynthia. Our projector and video is Mike and Eric, and Mike is here, Eric is in the back. Gideon is picking up our collection this morning, our offering. Our online host, as I said, is Cal Boyle. Our service practitioner is Dave Pennick today. And so I want you to know that Dave Pennick not only comes up here and does the reading and offers a prayer to ground us for the message that is going to be delivered, but he is also available after service for a prayer, for a brief prayer. And my invitation to all of us is to take advantage of him. Feel free to ask for a prayer for comfort or peace or power or joy or beauty. If you have something that you're struggling with, something that you're celebrating, a prayer is a great way to take that and expand it. So Dave will be open to that. And so right now we're going to sing our centering song, Out Beyond. So if you'd like to, you stand up. Oh, we have a new song. I'm sorry. So our new song, if you'd like to stand up and sing together, we are building our greater good. The words are here.
So the problem is no one sent that to us.
Never mind. So we're singing Out Beyond. And y'all know the words to that because we're all family here. We've done this dozens of times. So please sing along, Out Beyond.
There's How's it going, everyone?
Hey, good morning.
I didn't want to blow everybody away with the gong like I already did like before service and just bang it in there, so try to be a little quieter on that. So today's reading is from the book How to Change Your Life. And if you're going to take the new Beyond Limits class, you will also be reading How to Change Your Life. So I thought this would be perfect as a little teaser and a little kind of just fun to get you excited for it. And I am looking forward to the pleasure of TAing that class. So I will be there also with Karen Williams and Christine S. So highly encourage you all to come to that. So we'll read from the first chapter, Your Dreams Can Come True. And I thought that was also very appropriate since our dreams have very much come true with having you here, Reverend James. And let's all, I just want to give us, can we just give a big clap for that? For just having him here today and manifesting this. I just want to honor that today. So thank you. Your dreams can come true. Every human being thrills at the thought of having dreams come true. The idea means different things to different people. To you, it may mean physical health, the ability to walk, run, play, to engage in activity. To me, it may mean abundance, money, a home, a car, opulence. To another, dreams may involve education or the ability to get along with people. Whatever your personal desires may be, as long as they do not hurt yourself or someone else, you have a right to attain them, and you can. The ability to attain your goals, to control your experiences, and to have them result in happiness, prosperity, and success lies in your own mind and the way you use it. This means you control your own experience. You are really in charge of your affairs and the way they are to develop. Let us sum it up this way. My thought is in control of my experience, and I can direct my thinking. Read that again and then say it aloud. It is a most astounding statement, and at first it may seem far-fetched. But because you are a thoughtful person with an open mind, ready to be shown what you may not at first understand, even what does not seem entirely believable, you will be willing to take that statement under consideration and hear the reasons for it. Certainly, you do not have to believe it, nor do you wish to until you have investigated it, heard the arguments in its favor, and observed whether or not it works for you after you have given it a fair trial. That is the way the intelligent mind approaches any new idea. And so with that, I invite us all to go within and center and pray. So I recognize that divine presence. I recognize that creative brilliance, that oneness, that openness, that ever-loving presence of spirit. I recognize it in myself, and as I know that it is in myself, I know that that ever-loving creative presence is within every single one of us here. And I realize right now that all our dreams can come true. Whatever we desire to wish into our lives can manifest in glorious and spectacular ways, because Spirit is absolutely and perfectly limitless. And we have that Spirit within inside each and every one of us, right here, right now. And so I realize right here that with that expression, that with our experience, that with who we are and with our thinking, and when our hearts are aligned with what we desire and truly want and wish into our lives, that Spirit absolutely happens perfectly for us, right here and right now, and at all times. And so with this truth, I just give great thanks. I give great thanks for this knowing. I give great thanks for this community and all that it offers us in our lives. And I give great thanks for Reverend James for stepping into Spirit, for stepping into our reality and allowing us, his presence, to make our dreams come true. And so with these words, I just release them into that great law that always says yes. Yes to us, yes to life, yes to spirit. I call it good because it is all good, because it is always all God. And so it is.
So it is.
And so with that, I will invite, well, they're already here to the stage, but I'll invite them to bless us with their presence. And I just noticed that you got 2 different instruments there, and I was very impressed with that when I saw. I didn't even notice that before. So Cindy Akana and Nathaniel Schleimer.
I'm very excited to have Nathaniel playing, so I picked songs he could play with us. That would be super fun. So. This is one of my originals called A Ride. What will you do in this big bright world if you never leave your backyard? Who would you love until the end if you up your guard? Can you decide what thrills your heart and soul if that worn out couch becomes your throne? What kind of mark will you make in life if you play unknown? 'Cause you can paint the landscape before you, and you can choose the way you drive. Grab a hold of that wheel of fortune and take your big eyed ambitions for a ride. Log off of Facebook and start Rosetta Stone. Venture out and travel somewhere new. Take baby steps or run a marathon to what you want to do. 'Cause you can paint the landscape before you, and you can choose the way you drive. Grab a hold of the wheel called fortune and take your big eyed ambitions for a ride. Shine brighter than the morning star, reflecting like gold fairy dust, fall hopelessly in love. I'm not saying that it's easy, I'm just saying find a place to start, to follow your heart. 'Cause you can paint that landscape before you, and you can choose the way you drive. Grab a hold of that wheel of fortune and take your big eyed ambitions. Those big eyed ambitions. Take your big eyed ambitions for a ride.
Thank you so much. That's so beautiful and inspiring. Oh, so I'm so glad to be here for my 3rd sermon, but really my first official one.
Yes.
And I'd like to, today what I want to do is give you guys some idea of what we'll be up to for the next year. There are plans, there are ideas, And we've heard, man plans and God laughs, but we are involving divine mind in our plans.
Yes.
And laughter is part of it, so that's an important thing. I want to first, many of you have seen my interesting shoes, which I can show to the people on screen. And my reason for wanting to always wear them in church is in Exodus 3:5, when Moses was meeting the burning bush, the bush said, "Take off your shoes, for this is holy ground." Well, this is holy ground. So, for you on camera, I took off even my funny shoes. Just so that we know it's holy ground. There are all kinds of activities. Today we're going to talk a lot about how to engage in life and be on holy ground the whole time. How to walk in the two worlds of spirit and the earth, spirit and secular life. How to live in the world of the sacred and the mundane. This is really our course. When I was a young man, all I wanted to do was awaken. I was like, awakening, awakening, awakening. I'd spend weeks on meditation retreats wanting to awaken. And as I got older, I'm like, well, there's more to life than awakening. And there are different kinds of awakening. And awakening, can sneak up on you. And so I think we'll spend the year looking at, part of my slogan, part of my toolkit is wake up, grow up, clean up, and show up. And wake up is really about opening to spirit in the moment. And so this is something we'll do. Before I came here, I had an idea of creating and being a part of a beloved community. Beloved community is a phrase Martin Luther King Jr. used to use to refer to a group of people who love and support each other and who make sure that the least of us is uplifted and everybody is part of the community. And I think I've talked about how well, it's called the Lester Love technique, and it's one of the things that I do to sort of keep myself in the present. And it's the observation that many people spend their lives looking to be loved. Actually, I'll jump back to Lester. Lester was a mid-40s engineer and physicist who just ended up at the hospital with a heart attack, and his doctor told him, "Lester, your ticker has just about had it. You should go home, not do very much, and just get ready for death." And Lester was like, "Man, I screwed up my life. I wanted to be happy, and now I'm deeply unhappy and right at the verge of death." And he looked back on his life to see, when was I happy? And he was always looking for love. He said, there were always plenty of people who loved me. I have a loving family. I had loving girlfriends, loving friends, loving business associates. But that didn't necessarily make me happy. When I was truly happy was when I was loving other people. And so he's sitting in his apartment, afraid his heart's going to go any second.
Right.
He starts thinking about people who he loves or who he didn't love and just loving everybody in his life. And soon that apartment was filled with love, and he looked out the windows in mid-1950s Manhattan and loved the traffic, and he finally, got out of his apartment and started walking around and loving everybody on the sidewalk and the stop signs and the traffic lights. And he was just floating with love, and he walked all night. When the sun rose, he went back home. He was like, I think this is it. So this is our lesson, is I mean, check it for yourself, but I think you'll find that when you're loving, this is a tool. First thing it does, it brings you happiness. And then it also can bring happiness to people around you. This is why people talk about unconditional love, because you don't need anything back. The purpose of love for you is loving. And I think this is what we mean when we say divine mind is loving. It's its nature. And as we tap into that loving connection, it brings us in the flow. That's part of walking in two worlds. You know, Lester was walking in the world of 1950s Manhattan, but he had this love flowing through him, which was divine love, divine mind operating through him. So that's one of our tools for beloved community. Integral ministry is something I've been studying for a while, and it is about transforming lives and inspiring people to make a positive difference in our world. And integral ministry, it's sort of, you know, integrate means a lot of things, but it means bringing a lot of things together. It's a calculus term too, but in calculus it means the same thing, bringing a lot of things together. And it does involve embodied spirituality. So bringing spirit, not having it, you know, it's really easy for I think, especially new thought disciplines, to be very cognitive oriented. And so it's nice to focus on bringing it down into our bodies and making sure we have both bodies. In fact, I want to do just a little bit of Tai Chi. This is seated Tai Chi, so you don't need to worry. I'm going to use, I haven't checked, but I'm going to use the phrase heaven above to mean divine mind. So what we're going to do, we'll do this a few times, but we'll do heaven above, then, and so when we do heaven above, feel like divine mind is embracing you, is encompassing you. We are encompassing divine mind. This is spirit that we're connecting to. And then earth below, and point your hands to the earth. And we know this is holy ground, but this is also, we all evolved from the earth. We're all connected from the earth. We live on the earth our entire lives. The earth is our home. You know, even the astronauts in the space station are not very far from the earth. It's pretty close in a cosmic scale. And then all of us. And we are a community, we are a family here, walking the road between heaven and earth, walking on earth with elements of heaven. We are, 100% earth, 100% heaven. And so let's do it a couple more times. So heaven above, feel divine mind within us. Earth below, feel our connection to the earth, feel our very real physical connection to the earth. And then all of us, we feel the connection between each of us. We're all in this boat together. We're all humans living a spiritual life, or spiritual beings in our human bodies. Last time, heaven above is divine mind. Earth below, our very human nature. We love being in our human bodies, in this human community, and then all of us, our beautiful community.
Yes.
So, thank you. I am there are other things in integral ministry we'll be studying too. And what I want to do is characterize our path over the next year as a hero's journey. I should say that noise for everybody here so you're not worried. Our next door neighbor, 3 Silver Broomsticks, is upgrading their space. And
On Sunday morning.
They have a hard-working carpenter making the bathroom more functional and beautiful. So the hero's journey. So Joseph Campbell, how many of you have heard of Joseph Campbell and the hero's journey? Oh, just about everybody. So I won't go too much into it. I did find out though, that many of you probably knew already, that as a child he saw Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. And when he saw that, it just amazed him that not everybody was the same culture he grew up in. Not everybody grew up in a white church with a steeple. That there was this whole different culture that occupied the land that was all around him but invisible for him to see. And this led to a lifelong study, and he found that just about every culture that he encountered had some kind of a hero myth. And the hero is somebody who goes on a journey, and in the journey has companions, has tools, and is looking for a treasure. The treasure we're bringing back is a beloved community, an integral ministry, embodied spirituality, evolving soul, integrating our shadow, and showing up with our passion in the world to make a positive difference in the world. Now I'm going to go one more. Well, so the hero's journey I'm particularly thinking of, I somehow, as soon as I started thinking of hero's journey, I thought of Jason and the Argonauts. And this was the last hero I wanted to think about. Jason is the most imperfect, embarrassing excuse of a hero one could imagine. But he had a boat full of the greatest heroes in ancient Greece. And they all wanted to help him get the golden fleece. And they were willing to get in the boat so that they could all work together to do it. And most of those heroes, we only know about them because they were part of that journey. Mm-hmm. And Jason, while he was, God, does he have his flaws. One of the reasons I think I wanted to go with it, does anybody know about this projection? When somebody has a flaw that you feel like really deeply and painfully, it's because you see that flaw in yourself. And so I don't know yet what it is about Jason. Like
all of it.
But I know whatever it is, it's like stabbing a knife in me, and I will find out. Jason will be, well, we'll find out. But he did manage to bring some opposites with him. You know, Hercules, the strongest hero in the ancient world, was called, in the Greek, he is called Heracles. And he is called Heracles because Hera, the goddess of the harvest and of war, did not like him. And the reason he was so great is because he was always fighting against Hera. But in this trip, Hera was working for them because Jason was Hera's great-great-grandson. And so she was like, Heracles, you're okay as long as you support my great-great-grandson. I'm watching you. And so they're in a boat. The boat was called the Argo, and it was built by Argus. Argus was a gentleman with 100 eyes. And what the 100 eyes means is he could see things that other people couldn't see. And I'm going to take it to mean spiritual vision. And so I'm going to do an exercise most of you have done with me before, but I find helpful, is activating our heart. Our heart is the organ of spiritual vision. And first I'm going to do a little bit of an embodied meditation. So let's first pay attention to our feet. And what do your feet feel like? Is there pressure on your feet? Are they warm? Are they cold? What's happening with your feet? And now let's move your awareness to your hands. Are your hands tingling? Is there a breeze? Are your hands warm or cold? What's going on with your hands? And now what I'd like to do is move your awareness to your heart, our organ of spiritual vision, and to activate the heart, we want a feeling of gratitude. And so if you put your hands on your heart, this can help. And think of something or someone that brings up a feeling of gratitude. It could be a beloved pet. It could be a family member or friend. It could just be a situation that makes you feel grateful. That's it. And lean into that feeling in your heart. And notice as that gratitude is expanding in your heart. And as it expands, it fills your heart and overflows. And as we embrace and accept that gratitude, that love, that ease, it fills our entire bodies. And now it's moving beyond our bodies, and it connects us with everybody in the space, in whatever space you are watching this. Because we know that love operates outside of space and time.
Yes.
You know it because the object of your gratitude is most likely someplace else, and yet it's right here, right now. So in this sense, we are all connected, everywhere and everywhen. And let's just allow ourselves to relax more into that love, into that joy, into that peace and ease. And dive into it. Feel it interpenetrating every cell, every part of us. And notice, is there a difference? Is there a place where the love stops and we begin? Or are we all one? Is this our nature? And let's sit in the silence for a moment. Feeling the love. Feeling the gratitude. And now let's take a deep inhalation and exhale. And you can slowly return your attention to the room. But remember, you can always see with the eyes of your heart. This is your organ of spiritual vision. As we come back into the room, I'm going to grab my tea. So this is our ship, the Argo, is a ship that is guided by love, guided by our organ of spiritual vision. So it helps get us to the right place. It helps know where we should be. I was talking with Susan Hall about synchronicities. And synchronicity, she said, was a basket to hold miracles. And I think this is something I hope to notice. This is actually a practice of mine, is to notice synchronicities. Oh, there you are. Notice synchronicities in your life or in the life of your community. The fact that you're aware of them is a miracle in itself, and it connects you with your intuition. And it is sometimes they seem like miracles, and I think it's one of our spiritual tools is to open to awe and wonder, and miracles are one of the ways we can open to awe and wonder. Like maybe it's a coincidence, but hey, if it's a miracle, I get to open to awe and wonder. And geez, isn't it synchronous that there are so many coincidences happening? And maybe there are ways we can communicate outside of time and space. Maybe there are nonverbal ways of communication. Maybe there are ways spirit can guide us to make the right step at the right time. Especially as we sink more into spirit and we're able to listen to our intuition and listen to our voice of wisdom within, we can find ourselves moving in the right place. And if it doesn't work out, we can learn resilience. We can learn to empower ourselves. We can learn to listen to our shadow, So I talked about our shadow, and I want to talk about our whole brain. There are 4 archetypes in our brain. And the 2 that we have in normal consciousness are our narrator, our storyteller, who's our planner, who makes sure that sends out memos, talks to people, makes sure that everything happens that's supposed to happen. And our planner lives mainly in our neocortex, the newest part of our brain. So this is the part humans evolved. And it's a powerful way. This is why we have modern civilization. Planners build buildings, plan roads, build airports. We love our planner. But as they say, life is calculation and poetry. If you can't calculate, you'll starve. But if you don't have poetry, what's the point?
Yes.
And so bringing spirit into life, I affirm, and Ernest Holmes agrees with me, but he said it first. Poetry is practical. It can be practical. So we've got our number 1 archetype in our head is our narrator. Our shadow was someone I also referred to. And our shadow the shadow operates out of the most primitive part of the brain. And this is what keeps us alive. This is the reason why we evolved on planet Earth to become our beautiful human selves, is because our shadow was able to keep us safe, to remember to run away, fight or flight, or, nurture or care for, whatever, all the different methods. But the shadow on the downside can trigger us when we don't want to be triggered. I have my 3 beautiful grandchildren, ages 1, 3, and 5, living in my basement, and they love to come up and visit. And they are delightful and exhausting.
Yes.
It's this morning I had the 1-year-old has decided that I am his favorite person in the world next to Mama. Sometimes I'm even ahead of Mama. And when I get dressed up to go to church is when he especially smeared with scrambled eggs and wants me to hold him. I'm like, can I do that later? And he's like, no! I remember my kids used to do that, especially the nicer I dressed up for work, the more they wanted to hug me. They were always covered with art supplies. So they had paints and crayons and Play-Doh. So anyway, our shadow, you can be triggered by that, or you can appreciate the humor of it. Laughter is one of the ways we help deal with our shadow. But integrating the shadow is an important part of our journey. The reason we call it our shadow is it hides out. The shadow is an embarrassment to the planner. The planner has life all planned out. Everything's going okay. It doesn't need this primitive thing calling up fear, triggering us, making us angry at just the wrong moment. And by working with and integrating our shadow, we can learn, we can work with it. We can call for its help to keep us safe. We really like having the shadow keep us from getting hit by cars when we cross the street, and keep us out of dangerous situations. And we can work with the shadow to make sure it activates when it needs to, and it lets us relax and enjoy life when we don't need to. So those are two of our archetypes. The second two archetypes I'm going to bring, all the archetypes come from Jill Bolte Taylor's book, Whole Brain Living. Jill Bolte Taylor is the one who did a TED Talk which has at least 8 million views called My Stroke of Insight. Does everybody know her? Mm-hmm. Oh, actually, she's less well known. Then you get the medium length version. I talk about Jill a lot because, so she's a neuroscientist, and one day she woke up at home from, she was having her coffee, getting ready to go to her neuroscience lab, and she noticed her brain was shutting down. Because she was a neuroscientist, she got to watch herself having a stroke from the inside, and so she knew all the different components of her brain, and she got to watch each one of them shut down, and she knew which one was going to shut down next because of the architecture of the brain. So she knew that if she got help, she could recover from it, and if she didn't get help, someone would find her, on the floor of her apartment. So she dialed the phone. She decided to dial her neuroscience lab because her fellow brain researchers would know what was going on. When she hit the last number in the dialing the telephone, she no longer knew what a number was. She didn't know how numbers work anymore. Her sense of numeracy was gone, that part of her brain. And by the time somebody answered the phone, her ability to communicate in language was gone. But she was talking to neuroscientists who studied strokes. So when she said, "Oh," they said, "Oh my God, that is Jill Bolte Taylor, and she is at home having a stroke. Call the ambulance and have them bring all the blood thinners and everything we know will help her recover as quickly as possible from the stroke." What she noticed at that point, so she knew that she was as safe as she could be. She'd done what she needed to do. And she noticed at that point she was leaning against the wall, and she couldn't tell the difference. She couldn't tell where her body ended and the wall began. She was living in a world of oneness where she was not a being separate from the all. She was just part of the one, part of everything. She actually reports when her mother was trying to teach her arithmetic and she wrote 1 + 1 = 2, to her that was nonsense because everything was one. What do you mean 1 + 1? We're all one. Mom,
Yeah.
what's up with you? And she lived in an ocean of love. Like it was hard to perceive anything because the voice, the sound of love was so strong, the cosmic symphony of love. So she was just immersed in this ocean of love and oneness. And they came and brought her to the hospital and did the blood thinner and did everything. And it took her 8 years to get back to normal. But she was excited. I mean, one, she got to live in this world of love and oneness. There was a time in my life when I would have paid a lot of money to be in that situation. And she really wanted to tell people about it. She was like, this is amazing, because we don't know about that love and oneness because our planner and our shadow are so good at keeping us safe and making the world an orderly place, as orderly as we can, that we don't know about our other archetypes.
Right.
So the planner is the thinking part of our conscious brain, and the shadow is the sort of hidden feeling part. The feeling part of our creative brain that she got to live with for 8 years is our passion. There are things you have passion for when, like for my partner, Christy, it's art. When she starts doing art, she's out of the world of space and time and into the world of art and beauty. And I get that way when I go to art museums. I do it in nature. I spent many years as a computer programmer doing computer programming data analysis. I was gone. It caused me trouble with my family because I was going to be home at 5 and suddenly it's 10 at night. I'm like, what? It was 3 last time I looked at the clock. So people have different passions. Jill Bolte Taylor's is sculpting stone. And And so it's good to know that we have passion, and we want to feed our passion, and we want to direct our passion. When I talk about, wake up, grow up, clean up, showing up is the passion. We really want to show up for the world and the community in a way that activates our passion, that uplifts us, that we feel joy just for the opportunity to be in the world. That's my passion, as some of you may guess, is I love researching sermons, I love giving classes, I love creating classes, I love connecting with people, I love teaching things. After being an engineer for many years, one of my favorite parts of being an engineer was leading seminars and teaching classes. When I stopped being an engineer, I started being a school teacher because I couldn't keep away from it. And I thought kids need to know about robots and how to write their own video games. Why be stuck with somebody else's video games? But spirituality, I like the holy ground thing, and I think we need more awareness of the holy ground, of the holy space we can create around us. The last part is divine mind. Divine mind lives in us. This is the thinking part of our creativity. And it's full of heart, it's full of connection, it lives outside of space and time. So when I talk about wake up, what I mean by wake up is we connect. So those are 4 archetypes. One, the wake up archetype is divine mind, that we want to become more aware of divine mind in our life. The grow up is about the planner. The planner wants to evolve to be more effective, evolve to be more compassionate and kind and loving and happy as we create a world that works for all. Show up is for our passion. We want to show up to make a positive difference in the world. And clean up is about our shadow. Instead of skulking around, we want to welcome it into the open. But it triggers us. There's a course I'm going to be talking more about that transformed my relationship with my shadow. It's called Quantum Living. And what happened is, as I studied quantum living, when I'm triggered, instead of saying, oh God, no, not that again, I'm like, oh, this is my trigger. Let's see where this is coming from. Let's see why this is still triggering me. Let's talk with my shadow about what is it that the shadow is trying to keep me safe from, and how can we keep everyone safe and not trigger me. The shadow superpower, it's a little weird. We're embarrassed by it, and it sort of stays, it's hard to see the shadow. There's a book called Romancing the Shadow, which is about how to notice when your shadow comes around, because it's sort of not logically around all the time. And when I learned to deal with the shadow, when I took the Quantum Living course, suddenly when I see a little bit of the shadow, when I get triggered, I'm like, yes, there you are. So more on that. We'll learn lots of stuff about cleaning up the shadow with and without a particular course. But we do have, these are some of our tools. These are our companions on our trip on the Argo, our spiritual boat where we're heading towards beloved community and integral Christianity. I want to talk now specifically about what we've got coming up over the next year or so on our journey. And we have our boat Beyond Limits course, which is on Thursdays, and several people have already commented they're taking it. My partner Christy and I are going to take it, and we're excited because we'll be here in person. It's nice it's going to be hybrid. I have a passion for creating hybrid courses because I think people should be able to skip traffic or do the course at home if they want, even though I love being in person with people. the Universal Christ book study that's going on today, I think, is another thing. The Universal Christ is about that divine mind in us, embodied in us, as Christians call it, or at least Richard Rohr calls it, the Christ. In October, we're going to be moving into sort of paradox. We're in a transition. It's a transition between seasons. The congregation is transitioning from, transition minister to a full-time minister. And there's paradox involved in these, there's contradictions. I love the sunny summer weather, but I also love the cool, crisp weather of fall. I love the bright green plants. Sometimes I love it not raining every once in a while. Although when it rains, one of my favorite things is to go in the woods in the rain, because the colors are so much more saturated, and you can feel the life in the plants. They're like, yes, yes. So there's lots paradoxical about it, and October is a perfect month to discuss paradoxes. November, we'll talk about the mundane and the sacred, so integrating the two together in our lives. And of course, we always talk about holidays. Halloween is the paradoxical holiday, and the Day of the Dead. Thanksgiving is wonderful. America has a holiday that's just about gratitude. Well, just about. Yeah. It's the Jason of holidays. It has lots of good things, and it has some embarrassing things about it too. In December, we talk about living as wholeness. The holiday, in New Thought, I think generally they talk about December as being when the birth of the Christ within, reborn, where we reborn in divine mind. And how can we reconnect with that innocence, with that new beginnings. And then next year, there is a global theme, a grand rising. So this is more than just waking up. It's beginning the day with positivity and intentionality, waking us from unconscious habits and behaviors and moving towards conscious action. We want to support our positive evolution. And I think as we have the tools for untriggering us, reducing our resistance, we can move more easily and more powerfully into the life that we always love to lead. So this year and this day, I think, is about waking up to divine mind in us, growing up to evolve our storyteller and our planner for more compassion, insight, kindness, clean up for our shadows, where we accept and integrate our shadow parts into ourselves, and then show up to bring our passions, find out more about our passions, and bring our passion to the forefront to make a positive difference in our world. We'll end up with, we build through the process of going on the adventure. Like really, it's not the treasure that the adventure is about. It's about getting to know our companions, having adventures, all the excitement along the way. And plus, we have a boat that sees with spiritual vision. So remember, look at the world with spiritual vision. We are a fountain of love. I think that's how I want to end. Let's do one more time of like heaven above, earth below, and all of us. We are one community, 100% earth, 100% divine mind.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. sun in the sky. You know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by. You know how I feel. It's a new dawn, a new day, a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies are having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean. And this whole world, this new world, a bold world for me. For me. Stars, now when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. Oh, freedom is mine, I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, a new day, a new life. It's a new dawn, a new day, a new life. It's a new dawn, a new day, a new life for me. And I'm feeling good.
Thank you, Cindy, Akana, and Nathaniel Schleimer. Yeah, you bet. Thank you. So I have no doubt that there was something in the message today that has inspired you and that you might want to put in a request about. So if you'll just take a moment to craft that prayer, our practitioners here at Genesis Center for Spiritual Living will spend the next week praying on them for you. So we'll just transition right into our time for offering. We know that our center is supported by God, and this is an opportunity to be a way that God shows up for Genesis and the greater community at large. So if you just take a moment to make your offering. can make your offering on our website. And also you can tithe your gift to 206-800-7595. So when you're ready, we just hold our offering, if you feel called to, right next to your heart, and we say our offering blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am thankful. And Gideon will come around and collect these offerings while we sing, I am thankful. God is my source. That one.
God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
And so I just take a moment to acknowledge that we have initiated that law of circulation. That greater law is, as we give, so shall we receive, pressed down, blessed, and multiplied, and overflowing into our lives, into the lives of our community here, and into the greater community. And I call that good and very, very good. And so it is. And so, please stand up and we'll sing our closing song, followed by fellowship.
All right.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life and my heart open wide. Yes, I'm only for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart's open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Welcome, Reverend James. So happy to have you here. Let's all have fellowship and have a great week. We'll see you next Sunday.